Hello and welcome back to today's episode of the What is K-pop podcast, in which I talk about groups, members, discographies, choreographies, outfits, basically whatever else I want to talk about, as well as random K-dramas, K-survival shows, and other things like that sort of stuff. My name is Sophie, and I've been a K-pop fan for the last 3 years, and I started liking BTS, and now they're kind of just like a background group that I'm kind of aware of, and now I'm a fan of most, I guess, like mainly like significantly popular groups. Kind of sounds a bit mean for me to say that, but yeah, like Stray Kids, ATEEZ, I'm a bit of a fan of IVE, Monster X, that sort of stuff. However, today's episode is about the last series in the Produce 101 series, Produce X 101, the 2019 version, like series of the reality TV survival reality show on Mnet, and the show aired from the 3rd of May 2019 to the 19th of July 2019, and yeah, I completely forgotten how I do these things. Okay, well, I'm just gonna do it how it comes up on the Wikipedia page. On the 28th of February 2019, it was announced through Mnet that they would be debuting a boy group under the show Produce X101 and they would be promoting for 5 years, 2.5 being those just with the group, and then the next 2.5 years they can go and be in the groups that they were in previously or debuting new groups, and then once the contract was over they would be able to be with their group full time. Now, sadly, this group never actually managed to get that far into their contract. They were disbanded 6 months after the TV show, after their debut even, due to the voter manipulation scandal that was going on at the time, and that group being called X1, and they disbanded on the 6th of January 2020, just over a year before I became a fan of K-pop. Filming for the show began on the 4th of March 2019, which I'm actually surprised that it took like 2 months for like the show to then be like, I don't know, like shown. So I wonder kind of why they chose to do that. But you know, sometimes shows take longer to come out than others. It just depends on the release schedule of the show and like when they can film. The running time actually is actually a little, I didn't mention this before, but on the other episodes, but it went but for all episodes of the finale, it was between 140 and 160 minutes long, so that's like well over 2 hours, and the finale was 265 minutes long. Like, what? 265 minutes to hours. Yeah. Oh, fuck. That's 4 hours long. Literally nearly 4.5 hours long for one show. Holy shit. The Titanic film, that's on for 1 hour and like 15, I think. And I watched about 40 minutes of it late one night because I was like, oh, I need to watch the Titanic film just to say I've watched it. and then I ended up watching the rest of it like the next day. And I had to keep on pausing it to talk to my mother about like cleaning the house and stuff, because it was like in the morning, what you normally clean it like on Mondays. And I was like, I feel like I'm going clinically insane watching this film. And she's like, yeah, I'll do that to you, because it's a long ass film. And like, I feel so sorry for the people who like went to the cinema and were like, yeah, Titanic, ay, not knowing how long it was gonna be. And it ended up being like, what was it, like nearly 200 minutes long. And like, considering this finale of Produce X101 is like significantly over that, like well over an hour more than that. I wonder what the hell they did for 4 hours. And like, if anyone actually is able to sit down and watch the full show and not feel as though they are actually going insane. Yeah, so the series was presented by Lee Dong-wook, and the other trainers were as follows: vocal trainer being Lee Sok-hoon and Shin Yu-mi, dance trainers being Bae Yoon-jung, Kwon Jae-sung, and Choi Young-jun. The rap trainers being Cheetah, just one rap trainer being Cheetah, and the guest trainers were One Day vocal trainer being Soyu, and Group X battle rap trainer being Ju-hyun from Monster X. Soyu was on episodes 1 and 2, and Ju-hyun being on episodes 3 and 4. No, God, so many contestant names. Oh my God. Okay, so as I've said before on the other episodes of particularly Produce, there's not so much for the other shows, but for Produce it goes contestants that left the show, first elimination, second, third, and then anyone else who has since left in those sections, eliminated the finale and the final members of X1. If any of those people are listening to this, I am so unbelievably sorry. I just as a quick side note, I actually had speech therapy when I was younger, so I actually had a stutter when I was younger, and it actually does come out quite a lot when I'm reading off of lists. I've never been able to shake that, so I often make mistakes when I'm like speaking from lists, and if you hear your name and it's like pronounced extremely wrong, I'm sorry, there isn't really much that I can do about that unless I was to go back to speech therapy. And I feel like because it's such like a nuanced part of my life, just speaking from lists, it isn't that bad, unfortunately. So I do apologize for that, but I hope you understand. Okay, so the two contestants, well, there was actually 3, but one of them goes later. 2 contestants that left before, I guess, the filming of the show, and those were Yoon So-bin and Im Si-woo. Let's have a look. Does they say? Produce 101. I guess because it's individual Tony MCU from Mnet's Produce X101 is no longer participating in the show. On the 8th, source from Mnet revealed MCU is departing from the program for personal reasons. It is not because of the controversy, but because of personal reasons. Came in at 51. Wait, is this a different person? It's like romanized differently, so I guess it is still the same. Yeah, that's just, yeah, because it's MCU, and it's just, yeah. Meanwhile, former JYP trainee Yoon Seo-bin also left the show after some online posts claimed that he was a bully during his school days. Is he the... Oh, yeah, he is. Okay. Well, honestly, a lot of these sorts of things, because, like, you do have to sign something called an NDA, so a non-disclosure agreement, for, like, these shows, so I don't think there's anything really that, like, they can really say as to why they left, unless they unless they specifically want to say as to why they left, but like, unless it's like said from sorry, I don't even know what I was like. Obviously, when like people go on these shows, they typically do sign non-disclosure agreements, meaning that they can't exactly like talk about what they've been doing. But I guess with like, if they explicitly go out and say like, oh, I left because of this reason, and don't say anything about the show, I guess that's okay. But like, I've not really got much to say on that regard, but it is very much just a case of like, they can't say anything about the show like exactly. They can, I guess, just say about why it is that they left. Like, I don't know if they don't feel well or something, but sometimes it does happen. I was looking at a completely different contestant called Park Siwoo, who was a member of Blanky. Blanky is since disbanded. I am very, very annoyed about that. And at some stage I will do a video on it, or I will do a podcast episode about them, but yeah, I have unresolved annoyance towards a certain member of Blanky. Okay. Sorry. The contestants that left in the first elimination round are as follows: Anzadi Timothy, Kim Jin-gong, Lee Han-haemin, John Hyun-woo, Kim Yong-sang, Byung Song-tae, Lee Hwan, Jung Young-bin, Oh Se-bom, Yoo Gyun-min, Jung Myun-hoon, Stephen Kim, Song Chang-ha, Choi Jin-hwa, Lee Jun-hyuk, Lee Kyun-hyun, Won Hyun-sik, Tai Chi-hao, Choi Si-hyuk, Kim Gwan-woo, Park Jin-yeol, Kim Mi-so, Hyo Jin-ho, Hwang Kyung-ryul, Hong Sung-hyun, Yoo Seung-jun, Sung Min-so, Lee Sang-ho, Kim Seung-hwan, Kim Hyung-min, Jun Uehara, Yoon Hyung-jo, Yoon Min-gyuk, Lim Da-hyun, Park Seon, Choi Byung-hoon, Kim Jun-jae, Kim Dong-kyu, and Lee Jae-bin. Okay, and the contestants that left in the second elimination round were Moon Hyung-bin, Won Hyuk, Kwon Tae-yeon, Kang Seok-hwa, Baek-jin, Lee Mi-dam, Yoon Jung-hwan, Jung Jae-hoon, Park Yuri, Lee Woo-jin, Kim Dong-bin, Wei Xiu, Kim Seung-hyun, Kim Seung-yeon, Choi Jun-seong, Lee Won-jun, Park Yun-sol, Mahiro Hidaka, Peek Kon-fap, Hong Seung-jun, Kim Mi-soo, Lee Tae-sung, Woo Ji-won, Lee Eugene, Kwon Hui-jun, Han Gui-chan, Wang Jun-hao, Moon Jun-ho and Nam Dong-hyun, and a contestant that left before the third elimination round was Choi Byung-chan. Just quickly, Byung-chan, literally, I do not understand how on earth I did this, because I just watch K-dramas that I want to watch. I managed to find the two more like popular on Netflix K-dramas that Byung-chan has been in, completely by accident, not even realizing that Byung-chan has only been in those two that are on Netflix. And I was thinking to myself, like, is this like some sort of like sign that I should just become I'm pretty sure he's in Victon, isn't he? Yeah, Victon. Like, should I just become a Victon fan? Because like I've listened to a few of their songs. Like, I like Sweet Travel and What I Said, and I'm like, should I just like commit to the bit and like listen to their music, watch their programs and stuff, and like see if, you know, they vibe with my vibe? And I was like, no, actually, no, Sophie, you become a fan of a group that when you want to become a fan of a group. And that was like the weirdest about like 20 minutes of my life. I was like, this is so strange. Like, this is almost like creepy strange. Because like in my spare time when I'm not, you know, making this podcast, or I'm not doing my college course, or I'm not doing this, that, and the third, like I am actually a fan of these K like I am a fan of these K-dramas, and I do watch them, and I do just live my life, and it is so strange sometimes because I feel like almost these groups kind of present them like I checked the news quite a lot on K-pop stuff, and often the groups that I'm thinking about filming a pod for, like an episode for, they come up in the news, and I'm like, is this like them trying to tell me to like record? I don't think it is. I think what a lot of it is that like I I get vibes from things, like, you know how like you have like gut feelings. I get that, but like really about really weird stuff, and about like a situation that unfortunately occurred like about a year ago. I got a vibe from around about that time that I didn't really think about, and then I found out about it, and I was like, holy shit, like what is going on with this sort of stuff? And I think it's less that they make things happen to them in accordance to what I'm thinking. I think it's just coincidence, massive times the coincidence. Like, it doesn't often happen that much. Like, I've had the plan to do the produce series for probably over a week, and nothing about them has really significantly come out. Like, yeah, maybe there's like a member of a group that has come from that, like one of the members of that group was on one of the TV shows. Like, it is significant enough for me to be like, holy mother of hell, like this is trying to tell me something. And it is kind of weird to try and like come to terms with, like, maybe it is just me being absolutely clinically insane, like I'm actually going insane. Or like reading into things like that. Honestly, if you do have that sort of issue, then I'm sorry, but like it is kind of weird how often it's happened now, because even as like a kid, like weird stuff would just happen sometimes to me, and I would just be like, okay, moving on. And like I would never bring it up to my parents, but they would, I'm sure they were kind of cognizant of it too, because obviously they're my parents, they know kind of what's vaguely going on in my life. And I'm sure they were just like, okay, this kid is a weird one. We're just gonna leave that there. Probably not gonna bring it up until she brings it up, and I don't talk about that sort of stuff with them, and like because I don't know, I just like so much of my life, like they're finding out like little things about my life that I've always dealt with. They're just like, well, why didn't you say something about it, Sophie? And I'm like, because I didn't know it was different. It's like with I don't know, like I was obviously vaguely aware of the fact that I was different as a kid, with the autism thing. Like I knew that I was different, and I'm sure my parents were just like, oh yeah, no, she's not cognizant of what's going on. She probably just thinks she's as normal as everyone else. And I'm like, I didn't not think that, but like I was aware that I was in some ways different, but I just didn't it didn't register in my mind to ask about that sort of stuff because, to me it's just I'm not thinking about how much I'm different or wanting to know why I'm different, it's just me. Or like when I was trying to, figure out like what my sexuality was, like I didn't really care enough to figure that bit out, and eventually I found out what asexuality was, and I was like, yeah, no, that sounds about right. I'm not going to do too much research into that because for me it doesn't really matter because that's not going to change anything about my life if I do or do not know if I am that or not. And I feel like if I didn't know that I was ace, or if I didn't know I was autistic, like I wouldn't do anything really else with my life. Like, yeah, maybe I would just have a harder time with like being unemployed and living with my parents still. Like, I would kind of find it more of a struggle, or maybe I would have forced myself to go to school and, something even worse could have happened to me. So I wouldn't have, so like, potentially I wouldn't be here. But, you know, not having the information, I don't think would have really changed much for me, at least. I don't even know why I got onto this tangent, but like, um, knowing things about my life isn't like my top priority for me because it's not going to change anything. Like, I spent 20 years not knowing something. Why would I want to know it now? Like, I was 15 when I was diagnosed, and even then I was just like, sweet, can I go to school yet? They're like, okay. So I was like, sweet, went back to school and nothing really changed that much. And when the anxiety thing started, I wasn't I was like more or less just like, oh, is it just because like I'm really stressed about doing my GCSEs, and it never really got better. But now I know it is because of autism, and because I was like extremely overwhelmed and I wasn't getting the support that I needed. But even then, that's just like, I found that out only really recently. I've like kind of thought back on it and I'm just like, oh yeah, probably is because of that. But like at the time when it was happening, I didn't want the answers because I didn't think I needed them. But if people want answers, I do fully understand as to why people go out and search for answers. But for me, that isn't really fulfilling because, I spent the majority of my life not knowing anything about autism, and it wasn't until I was 13 that I found out about it, and I was like, dang, that doesn't sound like a particularly nice thing to have. And then I found out that I did have it. I'm like, well, actually, no, it doesn't, because it's perfectly fine as long as, like, you get the support that you need. But I don't think I ever really needed it too much, so I didn't, again, go out for answers. And I feel like with trying to search for an answer, especially about like a disability or sexuality or this, that, and the other, especially like for me specifically, like, if you want to go out and search for answers, then be my guest, you do you. But for me, having like going out and like trying to search for that sort of stuff has never really felt fulfilling. I've never felt like I've had to go and do that, despite, you know, it probably seeming like I probably would do. And because I've never really had that even as a kid. Like my parents, they never really got the questions of why do people hate me that often. Like I'd ask it, but like only because like people would bully me, so I wanted to know why people would bully me, not so much that like my brain was different to other people wanting to know as to why. And yeah, that sort of kind of aspect of like my life and why it is the way that it is. I actually don't know why I got on. When did I get onto this subject of me just talking about how like autism? It's never really been at the forefront of my mind. Like just to conclude, like yeah, I have the answers, but I've never really cared to find out more. But if you are diagnosed with it and you want answers, you know, you can search for them and, you know, be my guest. You do you know, you live your life however you want to. Don't feel like you have to live a life that I'm saying that I lived, because like this is just mine. I've chosen to do what I've done with my life, and I'm happy with where I am with things. But you know, the quest for answers is something that I don't think I would ever be satisfied with, so I'm not even entertaining it. And I'm happy with where I am at present. Okay, so the contestants eliminated in the third elimination round of Produce X 101, which is what we are talking about today, not my mental health, were Kim Kook Hyun, Lee Jin Woo, Kim Dong Yun, Lee Hyuk, Park Sun Ho, Kang Hyun Soo, Kim Si Hyun, Choi Seon Hwan, Ju Chan Wook even, and Kim Hyung Bin. And the contestants that were eliminated in the finale were Kim Min Kyu, Ju Jun Mo, Lee Jin Hyuk, Song Yu Vin, Han Woo Jin, Kim Dong Hyun, Hwang Yun Seong, Lee Si Jin, and Tony. That is a very, very good name, just Tony. What have you done, Tony? Oh, they've not put anything else up for Tony, unfortunately. Tony, I hope you're doing good in your life, Tony. Final members of X1 were Kim Yon Han, Son Dong Pyo, Lee Yun Sang, Kim Woo Sok, Lee Hyang-gul, Han Sung-woo, Nam Do-hyun, Sung Hyun-jun, Cha Jun-ho, Choi Seung-yoon, and Kang Min-hee. At the end, just randomly, just wanted to say for the popularity ranking of the first episode, Min-kyu ranked first place, and he didn't even get on the team. I'm so sorry, my dude. And then second episode, it was Johan. Johan again for the fourth one. Doesn't say for the episode 4. Johan kept his position. Damn. He really did keep it for a while. Does it say? Okay, so the rank first was Min-kyu, Johan, Johan, Woo-sok, Johan, and then Johan for the 12th episode. I love that for him. He didn't drop much, except from in episode 6 where he dropped 4, and then did he drop again? No, he went up to 2 and then went back up to 1 and then stayed there. I would wonder if the other contestants were like, I want to be on top. How do I beat Johan? That's what I imagine these people sounded like, but I'm sure they didn't. I honest to God wonder if these people would ever listen to this and think to themselves, what on earth is this girl on? I'm like, well, we have citalopram, we have some hay fever tablets, and we have no. We're a party over here. So only 2 of the contestants? No, 4. 4 of the contestants came from the same company, with those being Hyungjun and Minhee from Starship and MBK. Can I even count? No, I can't. And Hangul and Do-hyun being from MBK. I also must have whacked my head on something, or like something, because like it really hurts, like right on the edge of my, like just before my hairline. Oh my god, I don't even know what I did to like hurt it, but I mean, I did one time actually bash, oh my god, on my dad's birthday, I think it was, back in January. I was trying to like sort out my dad's phone to put on a new phone case, and I actually clonked my head on the computer desk. And at that time I was already experiencing like bad headaches, and so I was like, I have a headache. My mum was like, no wonder, you just knocked some sense into your brain. And I was like, I don't like this. I was fine, like I was completely fine, like I'm pretty used to it because I was a very clumsy kid. Literally, it wasn't even funny how clumsy I was. I'm sure my parents are just like, this girl is gonna one day cause herself a concussion. And I'm pretty sure I actually had one when I was like when I was a young child. Yeah, I think yeah, when we were on holiday one time, I was trying to drive one of those like mini cars that you get for kids in like this like enclosed little space. It's like it's like one of those like fairground rides, and I ended up bashing it straight into a wall, and my mum was instantly like, oh my god, are you okay, Sophie? Like, holy shit, like she just clonked her head. And apparently I was kind of a bit like, ooh, like a little bit woozy and like a little bit, not fully okay. And when also at some point during my childhood too, we went to I think it's at the Twin Towers. We did not go to the Twin Towers. I've never been outside of the United Kingdom. It was Twin Lakes, I think. Was that? Is that? Yeah, Twin Lakes. They had this Gruffalo ride, and I like smacked my head on there was like this. The internet's a bit rough today. Oh, it's not the Gruffalo ride, it was the Buffalo ride. Yeah, there was this like thing in the middle of the ride, and I bashed my head, like my nose on it, and I got a really bad nosebleed. And I think also at that time I got a concussion, probably, I don't know. Because my parents were more or less just like, yeah, just walk it off. Yeah, I twisted my ankle as well when I was young. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, I think. I twisted my ankle on the trampoline, and I was like, ow. And my mum was just like, yeah, no, just put up to bed. I'll just take her up to bed. And she woke up, and like obviously we woke up during the night, and my ankle was like all puffy and like swollen and stuff. So she was like, shit, like took me up to hospital and stuff, and they were like, yeah, she'll be fine. and you know, they were obviously like looking all over my body, just to, like, there's like obviously this like I guess this rule, you could say. This was like back in the 2000s, by the way, late 2000s, I think, at this point, and they were like looking around, just like, you know, do the assurance check to make sure that the kid was safe. Obviously, that kid being me, and they were like, you know, we're not too worried. Like, obviously, she seems to be a very, very clumsy kid. Like, we're not concerned, obviously, about anything that goes on here, because like obviously you have to like make sure that the kid is safe and all, when there are a lot of bruises like on the kid's body. And I'm sure they talked to me about it, but like, again, very, very, very clumsy kid when I was younger. And they were like, you know, I know it seems as though we're, you know, checking for a word, but you know, we can tell when a kid's clumsy, and your child is extremely clumsy. And she had to be like, yeah, no, she's had like occupational therapy too. I think it's called occupational therapy or physical therapy or something, because one of my knees, one of my like the lower half of my leg actually like kind of juts out to the side, so I've never actually been walking properly. It's weird. And they were like, yeah, no, she's just a clumsy kid, man. She's fucking insane. And I am always whacking into stuff, even now at 20 years old. And I'm sure my parents are just like, dang, the trauma, the therapy, oh dang. But no, I mean, there was never a concern for anything. Obviously, they do have to check the good old hospital. They did check. Well done. We are pleased for them, but no, I was a completely safe child. I just got in a lot of accidents, you know, not serious ones, but ones where you're just like, yeah, you know, this kid, she's a fucking accident-prone kid. Literally, you know, there's like those edits on YouTube of Champion from Monster X IM, like just getting absolutely like obliterated by like the members, and I have never sympathized with the situation more than like Chankyun just absolutely getting obliterated by the members sometimes, and them just like laughing at his expense. Like, obviously he's like perfectly okay with it. Well, not okay with it, but he's just like and you know, being the fun, slightly laughing stock of the members. Yeah, these always just get kind of awkward. I'm just like, I don't know how to move on with my sentence. Okay, so X1 released their debut EP, Emergency Quantum Leap, on the 27th of August 2019. So after I got my GCSE results, so I probably would have liked them. I love how I like refer to like my times at school from like in context with these people, like as though you would understand what I mean by it. But you know, it helps me, I guess. Clumsy. Guess you're finding out how little I can spell. Yeah, there was this video from Doraemon Baby from 6 years ago. Please save Chankyun. And you know, that all of those incidences have more or less happened to me over the years, because I am clumsy. I am extremely clumsy. It is not even funny. And I'm sure my parents, literally, they have gone on to watch me often, like just whack into stuff, and they're like, oh my god, this kid, why is she so dumb? Like, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly do not know what to tell you. Also, this channel does a lot of like they did a lot of compilations a few years ago, and one of them is literally like all the members feeding Chankyun food. I'm like that. I have a guilty pleasure. I watch those videos sometimes. Yeah. Okay. So they ended up disbanding. X1 disbanded on the 6th of January 2020 after unsuccessful negotiations between the agencies. They all had to basically say, yes, we want to carry on. A couple of them didn't. So they all resumed activities with whatever it is that they were doing. Sungwoo returned to Victon for the group promotions in March, and he debuts as a soloist in August. Hangul and Dohyun formed a unit, and then debuted in a group called BAE 173. However, Dohyun has since left the group due to issues. I don't know where I was going with that. Hyungjin and Minhee and Jungwoo and Wonjin debuted as members of Gravity. In April of 2020, Woo-sok debuted as a soloist in May. Suyeon returned as a soloist under Woods, like his name is Woods, on the released his first mini album in June of 2020, and he has since gone into the military after a beautiful EP. I am not even going to deny my love for that EP. I am planning to buy it as soon as I get over my fear of buying albums from Amazon, because sometimes they deliver and sometimes it's like, what the hell? But also I feel like buying albums from overseas, sometimes it can be questionable. I love dunking on things on this podcast. You know, it is just an automatic thing. Like, me and my sister were actually talking about this, of like how I have the biggest blabbermouth ever about this sort of stuff, and like how I don't understand how to talk to people. And I think it's because of the fact that literally after my sister obviously moved to university, I was in the house a lot alone by myself when my mum would go to work and my dad was obviously at work too. So I learned to just talk, you know, my mind. I never really had a filter, and actually it isn't because of that. I've always actually been like it. It's just, you know, as you grow up, you become less. Well, obviously, as kids, you have no filter, and like, I never actually gained one. I never developed a filter. And there was this Senko lady, this Senko teacher person at my school, and she would always be like to me, Sophie, please get a filter, because your mind and your mouth is going to get you in trouble one of these days, and it has. Anyway, not to worry though. I'm completely fine with that. I'm self-aware enough to know when to shut up, and you know, I don't often do it. Lee Young-sang debuted as a soloist with his debut mini album Beautiful Scar, and debuted under brand new music and BNM, I guess you could call it, new group Unite on the 20th of April 2022. I do like them, kind of. You know, they just sort of kind of live in the back of my mind rent free. And Johan and Seokwa debuted under the group Way with the what the frickety frickles. Oh, it's just my phone. That's nothing to worry about. Dongpyo and Junghyuk debuted under Mirai on the 17th of March 2021. Okay. like I said, Byung-chan returned to, and this is like the other contestants, Byung-han returned to Victon. Lee Jin-hyuk debuted as a soloist. Young Yuvin and Kyukyun debuted with My Team, disbanded in 20. Oh, very. Wait, what? Oh, My Team disbanded, but Kyuhyun and Yuvin, their like duo, debuted 4 days. Wait, what? Okay, that's confusing me. Yoonsung, Do-yoon, Hyop, and Chanwook and Minso released a single under W Project, and Junho joined them to debut as Drippin', their first EP, Voyager, on the 28th of October 2019. And one of their members, Alex, has left the group, and I presumably for the whole industry too. Jinwoo, Woojin, Taesung, and Maru debuted as Teen, and then they re-debuted as Ghost 9. Brand new music, Shihan and Jung Hwan and Songjun debuted as BDC. They have left the agency though. Baekjin and Park Yuri debuted as a project group J&R in December of 2019. And Jungmo, Wonjin, Hyungjun, and Minhee obviously debuted at Gravity. Won Hyuk and Lee Wonjin debuted under Elast. I absolutely love Elast's music. They are very, very good. Kyum Donghyun debuted as a member of Apex. Love their work. It's really, really good. A couple of members joined new agencies. I won't go through that because honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm just not cut out to do like survival shows. It's really hard because I just don't know how to structure this show genuinely. Like, I'm trying, but like I just don't know how to do it properly, and I don't know how I can fix it without just like completely scrapping everything and just kind of trying again. But you know, I don't want to try again with that sort of stuff, unless like obviously if I do end up like stopping this, I will probably never do a podcast again, so I don't want to stop doing it. But you know, it's hard to find, you know, what makes my show special except from me literally talking about my mental health issues and just issues in general, which, you know, I used to do on my TikTok, but you know, that never really went anywhere. So it's like hard to try and find a niche without just like really just driving it into the ground of like trying to do literally anything. But you know, if you like the show, then please do tell me. Yeah, I don't know. I try. Yeah, so that's all of the contestants, what they have done before the show, what they did during the show, and kind of what they're doing afterwards. Yeah, so pretty much I think that concludes everything that I need to say for right now. Tomorrow's episode will be about idol school, and maybe an extra episode, I don't know. It's kind of hard to like decide when to upload stuff. If you want to tell me anything, please do feel free to comment. I will appreciate that for the rest of my life. No one's commented so far and it makes me feel sad. in a few days' time, or whenever it is, like the episode I did about with my sister will be up, and yeah, you finally get introduced to her, and maybe potentially my parents will also join me in making a podcast episode at some point. However, it is kind of hard to decide when to do things. Okay, so yeah, pretty much wraps up everything for today. Sorry about like going off on tangents about my own actual life and just casually dropping about how I might have been like mistreated as a child. Like, I don't know how else to explain a story without talking about that, random little bit. It's just that, like, what I was trying to like randomly say was that, like, obviously, like, people do actually have to check, it is a part of that random part of the story, but believe me, I feel like it would have been a significant memory had people asked me anything about that possibility, and nothing has happened, nothing will ever happen, because believe me, I would shout it from the fucking rooftops if anything was to happen. That is just me. That is so me to like tell the world literally anything. Yeah, no, if anything ever does happen to you personally, please do say. Help will always be there if you speak out. You never, like, I know it seems difficult. I'm just going off on a tangent here. If it ever does happen, you can speak about it. Just, even if it's just talking to a friend or talking online to someone on like a help center, just being able to relieve the issues. I'm definitely cutting this out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up today's episode here. I do hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I will talk to you again later. Bye bye. Hi, sorry for the random cut just back into me talking. I do just randomly go off on a tangent saying about how like what I was just randomly talking about with me what do you call it, like quick twisting my ankle. Yeah, it's just a random like piece of my life, but like that part of my life is like kind of a bit of a strange one, and it's like something that we laugh about now. But yeah, like it is just like a safeguarding thing. But yeah, pretty much that wraps up today's episode. It's been about it, Produce X 101, and about randomly my mental health. Yeah, I do hope you have pardon me. I do hope you have a nice rest of your day. I'm about to go get dressed for the day because I'm getting warm now. Okay, so yeah, thank you for listening, and tomorrow's episode will hopefully be about idol school. Yeah, okay, thank you, bye.